things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light.
Greetings, everybody. I decided to begin this afternoon with that affirmation in mind. I am light. For those of you that are joining us, and perhaps you've not been a part or didn't get a chance to participate in our other um, times of prayer throughout this morning, so you may be joining us for the first time in terms of our prayer schedule. But we invite you in the energy that we entered into the midday moment with, in the consciousness of prayer. We've been holding all day the consciousness of prayer and international peace. And so I am moved as to how we have experienced the morning thus far. We set aside this time for prayer and for fasting, and some have perhaps concluded their fast, and that is quite all right. Others of us have continued just a tad bit more to hold the consciousness uh, of our schedule as we conclude. We began this morning with Love Alive International Sanctuary of Praise, LAISP. And what a beautiful time of prayer they ushered us into. And specifically, I took note of the language of prayer. I am peace. At one point, it was said, I am reconciliation. I took note of a prayer that Overseer Barbour shared, and I Googled it because there was a line in it that was so powerful for me. And it was a prayer that she read from Thomas Merton. And the prayer was beautiful, and yet this one line was just incredibly impactful for me. Help us to realize that there can be no understanding where there is mutual rejection. That really kind of grabbed me this morning. And so, as we have been praying for international peace, these are some of the reflections that I continue to bring with me into the day. And then we went and had a beautiful time of prayer, reflection, and teaching in the daily download, understanding that the peace we seek, it starts with us individually. The peace that we are seeking, the peace that we are holding the consciousness of, it starts with each of us. The same type of fear that is guiding conflict in Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine is the same conflict that guides our arguments at home with our spouses, that guides some of our conflicts at work. The same fear that guides that, it's the same fear. And like so, The love that heals those conflicts is the same. The love, the same love that we invoke in our personal lives and our personal challenges that we may experience healing and life more abundantly. It is the same love that we invoke as we hold the consciousness of peace internationally. In the Power of Praise, Elder Katrina Johnson Smith, something stood out for me when she talked about the domains. That as we talk about kingdom and understanding that we are all royalty, we are all offsprings of the throne, we all have guaranteed access of that throne. And we have been given a domain that we lead in. I saw the connection from LAISP to daily download into the prayer that 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 as we said in the daily download, that the peace starts with me. The peace starts with me. So when I show up at my job, when I show up at whatever organization I'm a part of, I'm taking peace. And so when one me shows up to take peace to the organization, the club that I'm a part of, then now I'm sharing peace with 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 100 other people. And that peace that is shared with all of those, it expands that peace and then they share it and we grow it together. And so it is in our domains. When you show up in your domain of education, community, and outreach, when you show up in your domain of marriage, home, and family, when you show up in your domain of uh, 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 faith, spirituality, and religion, when you show up in whatever domain you lead in, the domain that you have such a strong gifting and sense of fulfillment in, when you show up, you get a chance to show up as fear or love. You get a chance to show up as peace or conflict. You show up as mutual rejection or mutual understanding. You do that. We do that. I do that. I'm choosing today to show up as light. I am the light. I am choosing to show up as peace. I am the peace. I am choosing to show up as reconciliation. I am the reconciliation. And so I thought it fitting to offer our oneness prayer because we've been understanding the oneness prayer of our book, Life Changing Prayers. We've been growing in our understanding that the conflict we have is when we see ourselves separate from the other person. When we see ourselves separate from our spouse, separate from our colleague because they express one way or another. We see ourselves separate from somebody because they live in a different zip code. We see ourselves separate because we practice a different version of faith. When we see ourselves separate from each other, that in lies, that is the root of the fear and the strife and the fighting. And so, as we make a decision to show up as light, to show up as peace, to show up as reconciliation, to show up in our domains, to show up in our homes, to show up in our clubs, in our organizations, to show up in the grocery store, because you could be that one. You are that one in the grocery store. When we show up understanding that we are one. Our oneness prayer says, I am one with God. I am one with good. I am one with all spiritual beings. I am one with all manifestations of human beings. I got the same potential you've got. So no need in me looking down on you. I got that same potential. I've got that same image of God. I've got that same power to be greater or lesser light. So I'm not judging what you've manifested. I'm praying with you because we're one. I'm rooting for you because we are one. I'm cheering for you because we are one. I am one with all forms of life, angels and animals, vegetation and all nature. I am one with the one. There is only one. It is so, and so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste. I bow to the divine. I love you. I bless you. Let's show up as light, as peace, as reconciliation. That is how we grow the energy, the vibration. That is how we exalt, praise, worship God, the everywhere evenly present spirit of absolute good, from one generation to another, from one city, from one country to another, from house to house. I love you. God bless you and God be you.